Most men are not destroyed by the world. They destroy themselves with what they say to each other when they are alone. You may appear confident, you may dress well, look firm, talk strong, but if in your head there is a voice calling you weak, clumsy, insufficient, sooner or later that voice will win, because the mind, sir, always obeys. And if you repeat a lie to yourself long enough, you will end up living inside it. That's why I'm going to tell you something I learned in war and confirmed in business. Internal words build soldiers or victims. There is no middle ground. Every thought is an order. Every sentence you repeat is a bullet aimed at your destination. And the problem is that most shoot at themselves. You say, I can't. And your mind responds, order received. You say, I'm no good. And your body gives up. You say, tomorrow I start. And your soul learns to postpone everything. Therefore, the way you speak to yourself determines how life will treat you, because the world reflects the way you perceive yourself. If you insult yourself, the world walks all over you. If you respect yourself, the world adjusts. But of course, speaking well to yourself is not repeating empty phrases. It is not saying I am strong while acting weak. To speak well is to treat yourself with the same discipline with which you demand respect from others. It is looking in the mirror and saying, today I'm not where I want to be, but I'm taking it upon myself to change it. You can't control what others think, but you can control the voice that lives in your head. And believe me, that voice can be your worst enemy or your best partner. I learned to speak to myself as a leader, even when everything was falling apart. Because if my mind doesn't respect me, no one else will. If my word has no value to me, why should it have value to others? So the next time you doubt, the next time you criticize yourself, ask yourself this: would you talk like that to someone you want to see win? Because if the answer is no, then start changing the way you treat yourself. Respect starts when your internal dialogue stops humiliating you and starts training you. You don't need the world's approval. You need their word, their confidence, their firm tone when you look in the mirror. Because when that changes, everything else obeys. Look, the mind is like a wild horse. If you don't tame it, it drags you down. And most people don't even try to take the reins. They let their thoughts lead them right into fear, doubt, guilt, and then wonder why their life doesn't change. But if you learn to control your internal dialogue, then you no longer need motivation, because discipline comes by itself, clarity comes by itself, and mental strength becomes inevitable. So the first step is simple. Observe how you talk to yourself. Observation is power. Every time you catch yourself thinking, I can't, stop. Change that phrase to a command that pushes you. Say to yourself, I'm going to do it anyway, because every word you choose is a direction your mind follows. The second step, replace punishment with strategy. When you fail, don't insult yourself. Analyze. Say, why did I fail? What can I adjust? Weak people call each other names. Strong people train. And the third step, talk to yourself as if you are already who you want to be. Don't wait to achieve this to treat yourself with respect. Start now. Because when you change the way you treat yourself, your environment begins to treat you the same. You don't attract what you want. You attract what you think you deserve. So, if you speak down to yourself, you will live surrounded by contempt. But if you speak with authority, with conviction, with focus, the world will have no choice but to listen to you. Remember this: the inner voice is the general who gives the orders, and the actions, the emotions, the energy, just obey. So if you lose control of that voice, you lose control of everything. The inner silence is a battlefield, and he who dominates his mind already won before he started. So, every time your head says, you can't, answer it without hesitation. Shut up, I'm busy fulfilling. Speak with precision, with intent, with coolness, just as you would with a partner you trust. Because at the end of the day, your greatest partnership is with yourself. And if that partnership is strengthened, no enemy can bring it down. You must understand something. No one will come to speak to you better than yourself. No one will come to lift you up when your mind knocks you down. And if you don't give yourself your own respect, don't expect the world to give it to you. So step 4, become your own inner leader. Stop following the voice of fear and start following the voice of your purpose. You don't need anyone to motivate you. You just need to keep your word. That's respect. That is real power. Self-respect is stronger than any external motivation. Look, when you speak clearly to yourself, when you coolly give yourself orders and follow through, your mind stops arguing with you. It starts obeying. And that's the exact point where everything changes. no longer fights against itself. It begins to move forward without resistance. But there is something you must remember. Mind will always try to sabotage you. It will tell you to rest, that you don't need to, that no one sees you. And that's where most people fall down. You don't. You look it in the eye and say, I decide. Because true mental mastery is not silencing the negative voices, is making them obey. You don't control the mind by ignoring it. You control it by giving it orders. If you have come this far, it is because something inside you understands that this message is no accident. Because you know you need to start speaking to yourself with respect, with conviction, with the authority of someone who doesn't ask permission to be who you are. So before I go any further, listen to me carefully. If this message is making you think, if it's making you feel like it's time to act, then subscribe to the channel. Because we're not talking about cheap motivation here. Here we talk about mental strategy, of control, of power. And like this video, because that helps more people learn to speak to each other with respect, instead of destroying each other with their own words. Remember, you can change your life, but only if you change your inner language first. The mind does not obey emotion. It obeys the word. You already know what to do. You have known it all along. It's just that your mind has made you doubt. It has made you believe that you are not enough, that you can't, that you are not worth that much. But that ends today, because now you understand that the most powerful voice in the world is the one coming out of your own head. Think about this. Every word you say to yourself, every thought, every time you repeat something, your brain records it as a command. Therefore, if you call yourself weak, becomes that. But if you call yourself invincible, your body starts to believe it, and your behavior confirms it. That's not magic. That is mental strategy. And he who masters his mind, masters his reality. The way you talk is the way you program yourself. Remember the 5 steps we mentioned. The first one, control your internal language, because everything starts with the word. If you change the way you speak, you change your direction. The second, stop destructive self-criticism. No more phrases like, I'm a disaster, or, I'm no good at this. Every time you say it, you reinforce your mental prison. Therefore, you must replace it with firm commands, not weak emotions. The third, repeat what you want, not what you fear. Your mind does not differentiate between what is real and what is imagined, only between what it repeats and what it ignores. So repeat your goals until your subconscious has no choice but to believe them. Fourth, become your own inner leader. You don't need anyone to push you. You give yourself your orders and carry them out with the coolness of a man who knows he cannot fail himself. And the fifth, obey your word, because without action the word dies. And a man who does not keep his word loses the respect of his mind. Discipline is not shouted, it is demonstrated. Therefore speak firmly, follow through with precision, and watch how your world begins to transform. Without you having to explain it, people will notice. They will notice your silence, your gaze, the way you walk, and without understanding why, they will feel respect. But you will know. They will know that what they see outside is a reflection of what you built inside. You don't need the world to understand you. You just need to understand yourself. And when you do, when you start talking to yourself like a man who knows who you are, the external noise will cease to have power. Because that's where true control is born. In the inner silence, in the steady voice, in the word that doesn't tremble. So the next time you look in the mirror, don't insult yourself. Order yourself. Tell yourself what to do. And then stick to it. Because the world is not changed by shouting, is changed by firm decisions, and a mind that doesn't contradict itself. Remember this, you don't need luck, you just need to keep your word. And that is what will make you different, Fro.